Hello, my fellow Americans. As you all know, vaccines are a very important part of our lives, and today I am here to answer a simple question. Should you vaccinate your child? The answer to that is...
Whoa. You're ridiculous. You can't just give a straight up answer without listening to the reasons why you shouldn't vaccinate your child.
I guess you're right. Well, let's get right into it. You might be thinking to yourself, what do you know about this? You're both just kids.
Well, we actually know a lot. After all the hard learning and intensive research, we have gained enough knowledge to know that you should not vaccinate your child, and that...
Save it for the rest of the video.
Well, you see, here's a bit of what we will be talking about. Our topic is a very controversial topic that is very, very relevant. Vaccines. The diseases that the vaccines do or do not prevent are always prevalent in this world. They have been known to be deadly, and it is important to explain both the positive and negatives of these vaccines to people that can be positively and negatively affected by these diseases and vaccines. First, we need to talk about the outrageous cost of vaccinations for children. That is a major downside to the immunization of children and must be recognized.
Well, actually, pre-filled syringes cost an average of $136 in the United States. And even the CDC, which buys vaccines for the Medicaid program at a discount, pays $112.84.
Well, actually not everyone is eligible for the Medicaid program at a discounted price. And not everyone can afford to spend that much money, especially if they have more than a few kids in the family. This makes that information unreliable because you are making a very broad statement that are very confident in it. You can't make this seem true if only a very small population qualifies for the program. And more importantly, you can't present that information as such. Seems like an unreliable source to me. As you can see in this graph, the cost of vaccines has skyrocketed in the past several years from 2001 to 2011, and there is absolutely no doubt about it.
You're right, vaccines do cost a lot, especially if you don't have the Medicaid program. But the most common vaccines that are needed, for example, the influenza vaccine, costs less than $100. They cost less in time and money. Infectious diseases cost time off work to care for your sick, unvaccinated child, potential long-term disability care, and medical costs. Children under the age of 5 can be contagious for about 8 days, and according to a 2012 CDC, it costs the parents 11 to 73 hours of wages and $300 to $4,000 in medical expenses.
Well, they can consist of animal-derived gelatin and human fetal tissue. This is disgusting, and not many people want it in their bodies. Also, people claim that these vaccines are fighting diseases. However, in reality, they are putting a weakened form of the disease to see if your body can fight it. But what if it can't? Many people can have allergic reactions. For instance, so many people have an allergy to penicillin. Also, vaccines have been linked to autism.
You're right, people can have allergic reactions to vaccines. That's why it is always good to tell your doctor what your child's allergies are. There are parts of the vaccine that are made from viruses and bacteria called antigens. When infected into the body, it forces the antibodies to fight the disease. And one last thing, vaccines don't cause autism.
One important aspect is that many people do not vaccinate because of religious reasons. They have personal beliefs that make it so they do not want to vaccinate their child. In the United States, one of the founding components of what makes America so desirable is the freedom of religion. If the government forces children to be vaccinated, this infringes upon their belief and does not allow for full religious freedom.
It's true. There are people who believe that it is not right for children to be vaccinated because of their beliefs, and that is fine. Those people are just taking a huge risk of having their child get sick very easily.
Well, looking at this chart of the United States, it can be seen that the U.S. makes it quite difficult in many states to fully utilize these religious freedoms. All of the dark green states are states that make it very hard to be exempt from the vaccinations. That is 34% of the country. 34% seems like a very small percentage, but in reality, that statistic is alarming. Also, notice how there are only a few states that make it super easy. Only 14%? This percentage should be 100% in order for citizens to fully utilize their rights. Everyone should have this right and the government should not have control over that.
The reason they are doing this is to prevent another measles outbreak to happen again. On January 2008, an outbreak in San Diego, California, 11 unvaccinated children caught the measles and resulted in a net public sector cost of $10,376 per case.
But this data is not relevant and can't be fully relied on. That happened 11 years ago. So many things have advanced in medicine, not including vaccines, and it isn't as necessary now in this day and age.
Since the invention of vaccines and all the controversy it has gone through, it has improved our lives and even eradicated some diseases. As you can see by this graph of the seasonal flu vaccine effectiveness, it has a median of 60%, a range of 50%, and a mean of 40.36 and a standard deviation of 15.9.
This all sounds great, but what's your point?
Ah, glad you asked, you vaccine hater. This means that on average, the flu vaccines work 60% of the time and the numbers don't have drastic changes. It's not much, but it has improved over time.
Vaccines with a 60% success rate are ridiculous. If I am being injected with a disease in order to help control my health, it better be perfect, not only a bit over half the time. You people that support this are crazy. It is known that less than 50% of the population get the flu shot each year. And why is this percentage of people so much lower than others? Yep, exactly.
Now that you know the reasons and looked at the research and statistics we have found, it's your turn to decide. Either take the path of not vaccinating your child and having them suffer, or vaccinate them and let them live a safer and healthier life.